So today I'm joined by Rachel Constant Taylor. Rachel is the managing director and owner of Constant Recruitment Ltd, who unite IT talent and leading organisations in the UK. So welcome, Rachel.
Thanks for having me, Simon.
No, glad that you could join us today. So, Rachel, tell us a little bit more about Constant Recruitment.
Well, I founded Constant Recruitment 12 years ago. We're a permanent IT recruitment company. We can recruit for anywhere across the UK, but we really do, the most value from us is recruiting in Kent, where we're based, built our customers, candidates, everything in that area. Yeah, no temps though, we're just perm.
Okay, so just permanent recruitment and specialising in IT.
Yes, that's right.
Great,
And
excellent.
that's very broad. So that could be developers, it could be graduates, it could be infrastructure engineers, it could be report writers. I mean, IT is a really broad term, and yeah, we do all of them.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you. So, look, Rachel, so I've got two questions for you, first of all. One is, why did you start your own business? And secondly, why IT recruitment?
Well, when I left school, I went straight into IT, which was unusual because we didn't really know what it was back then. We were still using dial-up internet connections. And I absolutely loved it. Sold ERP software for years, and it was quite revolutionary in how it could bring businesses forward. Now, after I had my second daughter, I thought this isn't really working because I was traveling all over the country, demoing software, early starts, late finishes, and I thought I need a bit more of a life-work balance. So my dad at the time ran a recruitment agency, and he said, "Why don't you do recruitment?" And I said, "Well, I don't want to do recruitment." And he said, "Oh, yeah, but you'd be quite good at it." He said, "And it would give you the flexibility for the children." Yeah. You're right. So I went into recruitment, but I was really worried. I thought, I know nothing. I know nothing about recruitment. But what do I know about? And I thought, well, all I know about is ERP software. So I thought, well, I'll focus on that then. I'll recruit for ERP software houses. At least I know what I'm talking about. And that was really successful. And then as time goes on, you broaden that niche out. And that's where I am today.
Right. Okay. So was that sort of having your own business something that you'd thought about doing before, or was it just something that changed at the time? Had you thought I would like to be a business owner at some point in the future, or had it not occurred?
No.
Okay.
No, never thought that. I was quite happy going to work, doing a good job. And so my youngest is 18 now. So this was 18 years ago that I moved into recruitment. And I was there for 6 years. And then I just kept thinking, this could be done better. I could do this better. And to put those kind of things into place, you need to be able to drive that change yourself and make the decisions. So it wasn't a well thought out plan. One thing led to another, and I thought, well, hey, let's go for it. So I did.
Great. So it started off something that you did because you wanted the flexibility because of your family. But then once you started to do it, you realised that actually, yeah, this could be done better. This could be, we can improve on doing this. So
Yeah.
Okay, great. So and what challenges did you face along the way of the those sort of 12 years? What challenges have you faced?
Well, I think the number one challenge that recruiters face is that we've got a little bit of a bad reputation in the industry. And people go, oh, recruiter. And it's differentiating yourself that you're doing quality recruitment, which is ever so important. The most important thing in any company, it's who they employ, as opposed to bums on seats. And because of that, there's lots of other ways of doing recruitment and technologies you can use and so on and so forth that make it better to ensure that kind of long-term fit, not just in terms of skills, but in terms of cultural fit as well to be successful.
Okay. And you mentioned there the word differentiate. So how do you differentiate yourself? Because I often come across this quite a lot with the businesses that I coach, because most businesses are, and like IT recruitment, is a competitive industry. So
Yeah.
how do you differentiate yourself from your competitors, Rachel?
That is a problem. um, and there's different types of recruiters as well. So as I explained, I'm a specialist IT perm recruiter. So I'm not going to tell you I'm good at everything. I'm good in my market. I know my market really, really well. I know it from a real life perspective because, as I said, I come from IT. So that's where I can really add my value in and my network and everything else. So I think, you know, people get confused with high street agencies, temp agencies, and then specialist agencies. So three kind of very distinct areas. Now, how we differentiate ourselves? Well, it's in our ability to find a good hire. So a good hire, very simply put, you'd put it somebody who was staying over a year. And my personal rate is 96%. So 4% life happens. Which it compared to say an internal recruiter probably hitting about 60%.
Yeah.
So we're getting it right. But it's, as I say, it's not just skills, it's the personality, it's the motivator, it's obviously skills to be able to do the job. And I use different tools to do that. But one of the things that I've started doing with my clients is I've just rolled out a piece of video interviewing platform, funnily enough, where I actually pre-interview the candidates for 5 minutes and send that with the CV. Yes, it takes longer, but we're obviously trying to do a really good job and get a really good fit. So the client, it saves them loads of time because, you know, they can view it separately, 5 minutes. Oh, this seems like the right person. Good, we'll move forward. It saves a lot of time for the candidates because for that sake of that 5 minutes worth of pain, having a chat with me, I probably, because I'm specialised and to a great extent localized, I may have 5 different roles that I can put them forward to. So 1 interview, 5 applications, brought their application to life, and the client's really focusing on those quality candidates to get through to the next stage, hopefully make a successful hire. The other thing that is different, now I don't know any other agency who does this, and I've kind of done it on confidence of my own ability because I am also a contingency recruiter. Now, what that means is I only bill you if I'm successful in placing somebody with you. There is retained recruitment as well, where a recruiter will ask for a certain amount of money up front, whether they're successfully placed or not, which is a good idea because some people do waste your time, but I've kept with the contingency model. But recruitment, you know, we do charge relatively large fees. Of course, I'm going to say it's worth every penny to get the right staff in. But for a small company, and my absolute favourite is the SME market. So somebody between 20 and 150 employees is my absolute favourite. It's where I think I can add the most value. That fee is quite high. Day one, you've taken somebody on, you've got to get all their IT, you've got probably 3 months before you're getting return investment where you're training them. And then on top of that, I send you an invoice for a lot of money. So I've actually got a payment plan as well, simply put, where I take the fee, I divide it by 12, and I invoice it each month up to 12 months that the candidate is still there to share that risk, that pain, the cash flow, and giving that chance for a return on investment.
Yeah, I like that. That sounds, yeah, okay. So you're, as you say, you're sharing the risk, but also you're demonstrating your belief in that you can add value, because you're saying, look, I'm confident that I'm going to find you the right person, and they're going to stay with you for a year or more. And actually, therefore, because I'm confident about how good I am at what I do, I'm going to let's put in this payment plan. So, okay, yeah, I think that's like, you know, and that it's those type of things that, as you say, differentiate you. Now, I don't know your industry well, but you know, is that something that's relatively unique, Rachel? Is that yeah, okay,
yeah? I don't know any other recruiter who does it. I think they all think I'm completely barking mad. But in the world we're in, especially in IT and with software as a service and things like that, it is the norm for things to be paid for monthly instead of upfront. But really why I'm doing it is to enable the small, medium-sized businesses to use the services of a professional recruiter to get it right, because the cost of a bad hire is going to hit a small company much, much harder than it will a massive company. It's just to enable that through. It's an educated gamble on my part because, as I said, 96% success rate. But for example, I did place a chap with a company last year, and he was only there 6 months because unfortunately he had some real ill health and left. It wasn't the company's fault, wasn't his fault, wasn't my fault, but at least we all shared, you know, that pain instead of it just being tough luck.
And I think, look, this is you know, this is important. You know, when I coach clients and speak to clients, is to, there's often a reason that people, and no matter what industry you're in, but there's some concerns that they might have about using your product or services or whatever it is. And if you can alleviate those or take them away, which is what, you know, what you've done there, then they're more likely to do business with you. And by the way, I do something similar in my business, Rachel, where I, you know, what I say to people, if I'm confident that we should be working together and I offer them a coaching program, then I guarantee results. And what I say is that if they don't earn, or their revenues and doesn't increase by more than they invest in me or their gross profit, then I'll refund the difference. So in other words, there's no risk to them. They'll either grow and get their money back that way, or if they don't, I'll refund the difference. And again, the reason I say that is because it's similar to the, you know, what you're offering. It takes away some concerns. So I think that's a really good point that you've raised there, Rachel, for all businesses to think about. What are the concerns of their clients and how can you alleviate them? How can you reduce them? Now, one thing I'm interested in exploring with you, Rachel, is how important is it to recruit the right team members?
Well, very, very important. There has been some research actually, so by McKinney, and what they were looking at was the how productive average member of staff is compared to a great member of staff. So we're not talking bad, we're talking just average. Okay, you wouldn't sack them, they do an okay job compared to somebody fantastic. And it's actually 400%. So the great member of staff is 400% more productive than the average. It's quite a high number. But interestingly, when we get to software development, that figure raises to 800%, which is just out of this world. And I had a client a little while ago, and I placed a young chap in with him, not massively experienced, 18 months commercial experience, iOS developer, and they'd got an Indian offshore team as well, and they had a bit of a problem with the software. The whole team offshore had looked at it for a week. Nobody could solve it. So they gave it to Jay, and Jay looked at it, 2 hours, he'd solved it. And I previously told my client about McKinney's report, and he said, it really is true. It's not apples for apples. It's not this person, it cost me this much for this person for this person, because some people are just so much more productive. So it's so important to get the right person. And again, I keep saying it's not bums on seats, but it's not, you know, you need that cultural fit, you need the right personalities, you know, with the right skills to drive the businesses forward, which is why I keep saying it's particularly important for the SME market, where, you know, if you've got that great hire, they're going to really elevate you above your competition. Obviously, the cost of a bad hire, there's actually some research done recently by the REC, and I couldn't believe it when I read it. I thought, this is shocking. So they based it on an average salary of 45,000 a year. And they said, now the cost of a bad hire, so somebody not staying over 12 months, was 145,000 and a few pennies. I thought, it can't be. I looked into it. I thought, they're right. If you add up the time training, the damage to reputation, the upset amongst the team, very, very quickly, you can get up to that figure. So yeah, finding the right people, massively important.
Yeah, no, look, there's some amazing statistics there, and thank you for sharing them. You know, there's some I wasn't familiar with there, and that's really powerful, isn't it? To think actually how important it is to recruit those sort of team members. I mean, I always take the view that look, any team member should be adding value to a business in some way,
Mhm.
shape, or form, and that value should at least, in my opinion, be 2.5 to 3 times the investment in that employee. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah. I think that
they
we
should be
think
yeah
so.
sort of and
Mhm.
it's just a rule of thumb. In some industries it might be greater, others left, but less. But they should always be adding value to the business at least 2.5 to 3 times more than the investment in that person. The other thing here as well is that okay, look, and particularly in IT, you've got they've got to have certain skills, be able to be proficient in whatever IT industry they're in. But what about, let's call them the softer skills of their attitude, their character, those
Mhm.
sort of things? How important is that, Rachel?
Do you know, I'd say it is as important
Mm,
to do. I'm just recruiting for a role at the moment and they're a very positive, friendly group.
mm,
Amazingly so. I don't know why they're all so happy, but they are. So we need somebody like that who's got a collaborative nature, who's positive, who wants to help out, who wants to think outside the box, to problem solve, look at their business processes, suggest different ways of doing things. You need somebody excited and engaged.
mm.
Um, Obviously, when you're looking at other roles that are client facing, good communication skills, I mean, always seem to be important, whatever role, even if you're a software developer, you need to be able to communicate with the other software developers.
Yeah.
And these are, yeah, but I'd say a positive mindset is a key thing what employers are looking for. A growth mindset, especially in IT, it
Mm,
changes so quickly. You
yeah.
can't have somebody who thinks, I've learned it all now, I know it all. You need somebody who's so genuinely interested in what they do that they can't help themselves, because they love it. Learning some more, going on Udemy, Pluralsight, whatever, picking up the new skills. And time and time again, people say, oh, I want somebody who shows some initiative. I
Mm.
want somebody who can speak up and feels safe to speak up and challenge maybe what we're doing or say, is there a better way of doing this?
Yeah. Okay. No, again, I agree. I think, I always say, that we, hire on attitude as well as
Mhm.
aptitude. But so what would you say is your biggest learning since being a business owner, Rachel?
Oh, everything's evolving so quickly. There's always new things to learn. If you meant if I had to do it again, what would I do differently? I would scale quicker. I think I wouldn't be quite so afraid of thinking,
Mm.
oh, should, oh, maybe wait a few months. So if I did it again, I'd be a bit braver and I'd get on with it a little bit quicker. Um, I think you need plan, definitely. There's no point just hiring willy-nilly. You need to think who it is, what you need from them, and what you're going to give to them as well. So I'm just about to take on another consultant with me. No, it sounds a bit clipboard, but I have a 100-day onboarding plan ready
Yeah.
for them because they want to know what they need to do to be successful, and I need to train them to be successful. So you can't just have somebody turn up and say, here's a computer, here's a phone, get on with it. You need that kind of continuous investment.
Again, I think that's great. I love that you've got your onboarding plan um, because you're right. I mean, we discussed earlier about what actually you want, and the person, your client, wants somebody that's going to stay for the long term, at least
Mhm.
a year.
Mhm.
But actually, it's the first thing is finding the right employee.
Yeah.
Actually, the second thing is keeping them, isn't it? And actually that takes a good onboarding process because
Yeah.
they could be the best employee in the world, but if you don't have a great onboarding process, they're going to question whether they've joined the right company,
Mhm.
whether it's somewhere they want to work, or it might even be that there's a misunderstanding between what the employee thinks they should be doing and what the company thinks that they should be doing, because it hasn't been a great onboarding process. So
yeah,
that is key.
You made a good point, actually. So I think when you're hiring and when you're starting a new business, you need to start with the why. Why are you doing this, and what are you hoping to achieve? In terms of the onboarding, it's so important. Those first 6 weeks that you've got a new hire on, you get that wrong, you're almost doomed. So you need to really dedicate your first few weeks to showing them the love. But also from the candidate's point of view, you're really thrilled, you've got this job, and you're kind of searching, what do they want? Has this made them happy? Has that made them happy? Of course, if you can have some clear guidelines, then that can enable people to then be successful with you moving on.
So look, there's one question, Rachel, that I like to ask everyone that I that I have these conversations with, and actually you'll relate to this because you've got an 18-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
I've got an 18-year-old daughter as well. So what's the best advice you would give an 18-year-old you?
Right. Okay. I was having a think about this earlier. I think the key thing is to embrace learning. And it's not just in IT. I think it could be in any profession that you're in. There's always new things to learn, ways to be better. And I think that you need to have that passion and interest in what you're doing, that you want to learn more about it. I think if you're thinking, oh no, I don't want to learn any more about this, it's probably a key sign you're in the wrong job. So that's number one. Number two, take risks, but not silly risks, calculated risks, but be a little bit braver. I think that especially when you're younger, I think it's you're even more risk averse, because you think, oh, what if I make the wrong decision? You know, what if I pick the wrong subject to study? What if I do that? Just do what you love and do it really well. Work really hard at it, and good things will come. I can't tell you what those things will be, but they will come. Be positive. Just be positive. Nobody likes somebody negative with them all the time, do they? At least be a ray of sunshine for other people in your life, and don't overanalyze. And I've got a little saying, and I say it to my husband all the time. And I go, don't live the trauma twice. And and by that, what I mean is sometimes you can overanalyze, you can over worry, got yourself into a real tiz about it. It might not even ever happen, firstly. If it does, you've lived the trauma twice, or it might be a complete waste of energy. But I don't think any time overanalyzing and worrying has actually enabled you to come up with the solution. It's just given you some pain.
Yeah, no, look, I agree. I always think there's two reasons to look backwards. One, to learn from it, and two, to give yourself confidence to move forward. But yeah, I agree. Don't overanalyze it. You can dwell on it and beat yourself up too much. So okay, so I picked up a number of things you said there. So be open to learning, take calculated risks, be positive, and don't overanalyze. Great. Well, look, thank you for that, Rachel. I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today and sharing more about your business and your journey. So thank you.
Thank you for having me, Simon.
Thank you.